Is that a long flight or?
Yeah, it's 12 hours from here to Montreal, and then, well, 12 and a half hours to Montreal, and then I have to fly another 2 hours to Toronto,
Oh, wow.
and then 3 hours car
Oh,
north
yes,
from there.
it's so far.
But the Qatar Airlines bought me a business class ticket,
So it's all good.
so
then,
it's like,
then you're pretty
it's
good.
like not even
Yeah.
traveling.
No, man.
So
they
good.
make up your bed and all of that.
I
Like,
know.
what?
I'd never flown business class before.
Yeah.
It was so nice.
It's a cool experience, especially in Qatar. It's a really cool
Yeah,
experience.
it's an awesome airline, isn't it?
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, I loved it.
We are here at Fuwairit Kite Beach, the day after the competition wrapped up with champion Bruna Kajiya, who won it yesterday, and a three-time world champion, if I remember correctly. What years did you win the world championships?
That's a good question. I'm really bad with the numbers, to be honest. Everyone asks me that, and I have to always look up on my phone and figure it out.
I should have researched that beforehand. How many years ago though was your last championship? You probably remember that, probably.
I'll say like maybe 4 years.
Okay.
Something like that.
Yeah. So winning the event yesterday, you said, had a really sweet taste of victory to it because of the amount of extra work you'd been putting in, and some of the obstacles you've overcome. What were some of the challenges, and what kind of work did you put in to achieve the victory yesterday?
I feel like, in order to be where I am now and, win this event, I've been through a lot, so many challenges, personal, professionally, had to work a lot to get it. And I feel like as humans, like when we work a lot, something like feels a lot more rewarding when you get it. And also made me reflect into like the past world championships I got. For instance, on those years, I was winning events back to back. And yes, I'll get happy, but when it becomes kind of like, yeah, I'm happy, but this one has a meaning to it, and I feel that's what makes it so special, because I will forever remember this.
Yeah. So let's maybe talk a little bit about training-wise, what you actually do training-wise throughout the year to stay at the level that you're at.
I'm super into physical training. Like, I think that's something that I brought into kiteboarding. Like when I started, we're just like traveling around. People were like kiting and just having fun. And from the beginning, I always had this attitude, like, I want to be healthy in the water. Let me put the extra work off the water. And I feel like this now, it's a mindset that is grown into the sport, and a lot of the athletes are doing it. But yeah, that's a huge thing for me. I do a lot of gym work. And combined with kiting, and I feel like that's a really good combination. And also, like, I do yoga and stretching, because it's always important to keep like strong but also flexible. Avoids a lot of injury, and yeah, kind of that's my game plan.
Would you be able to describe like your gym program that you're doing? Like, do you have a personal trainer that you work with, or someone that puts a plan together for you? Or do you do it yourself?
Yeah, I've worked with several coaches throughout my life. Most of them through Red Bull, so I have someone that overlooks what I need to do, and it depends of the time of the year. Like, we might be focusing more on strength in a certain area, or maybe more agility or mobility, depending of the time of the season that I am. But yeah, like, it's just weights on the gym, and a lot of stretching, and not too heavy. I'm never like lifting too heavy, because I like, for kiteboarding and freestyle specifically, I like to keep a light frame, just a very efficient one. So that's kind of what my training is.
You talked a little bit about Red Bull being supportive. I've talked to other athletes that have said that Red Bull's been instrumental in helping them with their programs, like not financial, like they get the financial help, but also the other things that most people don't ever hear about, like with having trainers and coaches and stuff.
Yeah, Red Bull has been an amazing support throughout my career, and that's what sets it apart from most brands, because they look at you as an athlete and they try and support as much as they can. Like, not only financially, but if I need a physiotherapist, they're there. I had knee surgeries, like their insurance paid for all of it. I didn't have to worry about. As an athlete, that's like a huge deal. Rehab, they have the best rehab people. They have training centers. Whatever I need, really. Sometimes, like, I'll fly in somewhere and I'll just contact the Red Bull manager and be like, hey, I know this is not into your job description, but I might need help finding like a hotel here, or finding this. Can you help me guide around? And they're always there. And I feel like that's been something that I've come to appreciate a lot, especially, traveling around so much and exposing my body to so many injuries. Red Bull is an awesome sponsor.
Yeah. How long ago was the knee rehab and the injury?
I had a few. I had 3 knee surgeries actually. The last one, it was about 3 years ago, I'd say. So yeah.
Yeah. So this is really kind of the first. I guess last year there was a full year of contests, but before that it was kind of a break. So that was right through COVID when you would have been rehabbing.
Yeah, basically it was as soon as COVID started to open, it's when I started rehabbing. And then for me it was actually a good timing in a way, because I could take that time to put it into the knee and make sure, with a knee injury it's always tricky because you want to come back as soon as possible. You have the sponsors, you have your responsibilities, but also you need to find the balance between when your knee's ready and when you want to be out there. And I think that took a lot of pressure off my shoulders because I had the time. So I put a really good work into the knee, and now I don't really feel like I ever had an injury. And I think not a lot of athletes could say that from after a knee surgery.
Yeah. There's a lot of recreational riders too that are going through knee rehab, or about to go through knee rehab. What was the whole process like?
It's a brutal process, especially if you want to have full range of motion and go back to a professional sport. It's a painful and brutal, but I feel like the secret to it is being constant, like putting in the work, even though that day you woke up and you feel like you regressed the whole week and you don't want to go, but just go, because at some point all of that, if what you think it's not going forward, one day it's like, oh, now I see it, but it kind of takes a while for you to see it. So yeah, I just keep pushing.
This season it seems like the women's freestyle competition is going to be probably one of the most exciting seasons that we've ever watched, partly because of the new rule format and just with the different personalities involved in the sport. Let's maybe talk a little bit about the new rule format and the variety of tricks and what you think of the new format.
So the new format is actually being changed for Colombia. So we're adapting since we started here, and there's some faults into the existing format, but we're adapting it now. But the idea of it is really good, which means more riders can come, and with the varieties of other tricks you can still win, you can still do a lot of different tricks, and we want to see that. We want to see different tricks coming up. So we're adapting for Colombia, but with the same concept, and I love that. I think kiteboarding needs that. And I started competing back in the day where we had a lot of tricks. We had a lot of switch too, and the combos and the toe sides, and I feel like that makes it super interesting to watch. So yeah, I'm really happy with this new direction that we're taking, and I think Colombia, we're gonna have it locked and perfected.
Yeah. So it's the 4 categories. There's the heel side tricks, the toe side, is there combo tricks, and the 4th is it's not kite loops. Is it kite loops?
Yeah.
Okay. And then there's the 4 subcategories within the heel side tricks.
Yeah.
So how does that totally work? So that's the.
So I don't know if it's worth for me explaining to you now, because it's going to change completely for Colombia.
Yeah.
So, but basically what we're going for now, it's the idea is that you have your heel side tricks.
Yeah.
So all the doubles or singles, whatever you want to do. But we want to make it almost mandatory that you incorporate either a toe side trick or a combo or a rewind trick or a kite loop trick to see that variety. So that's the point of it. It's the normal heel side tricks, but with that extra. And then you can add as many variety categories as you want into your heat. If you want to do 4 variety categories, you're free to do it. And that's what we're trying to balance. Have variety, but also with freedom,
Do you think the new format makes the heats more strategic?
So the way we competed here, yes. Not so much for the women, but for the men, that play a huge role into the results, being strategic. And that's what we're trying to change, because, we want the best rider out there to win, and not necessarily the one that plays the game the best and maths the best. So we're trying to make it simple. that, you know, still the best rider wins, but with a more variety, and leave all of the calculations and points out of the equation.
I have to be honest though, as a spectator watching, I found it really interesting to watch some of the competitors coming in and looking on their friends' phones and looking at how the points were working out and trying to figure out what trick to do next.
Yeah, we usually do that in every event anyway, because we have the points, and then, okay, I'm on my 5th trick, how much do I need?
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's the cool aspect of the format that we have, with the showing the points, how much you got straight away, so you know exactly what you need for the next trick. Like I went for my last trick knowing exactly what I needed. And I think the new format takes away from that a little bit, because after the heat was finished, we were adding a variety score.
Yeah.
So then you're looking at the scores, but you know they're not going to be the final scores, and then you never know. So what we're trying to implement to Colombia is that you still have the results straight away, and you know exactly what you need, and add the variety into it.
Yeah. So how would that work? Would that be sort of making some of the categories more simplified, like the 4 subcategories?
No, it will be taking away the variety score, like completely, like the 7 points at the end of the heat, and just making sure like only an X amount of hillside tricks will score into your heat, and then making you do that
the other tricks
to get the points, but no variety score at the end.
Oh yeah, because that would make the live scoring more streamlined.
Yeah.
Because you get your trick score up there, and that's adding into the total.
Yeah, exactly. Like easier to follow.
Yeah, that would actually be better for spectators, I think.
Yeah, that's the idea. It's so funny because we have so many people that watch every single competition. You know, they follow from home, and they're all like, "I don't understand. It finished, but that guy had more points. But then there's other points." So we're trying to make it simple for the riders and the spectators.
Yeah. So you were saying that you've been here a few times before. Let's talk a little bit about this. To me, strikes me as being a pretty amazing spot as like a beginner location, and when the tide's up, a pretty good spot for freestyle.
Yeah.
Maybe give me some of your personal thoughts on what this location's like.
I mean, I personally really like it because I'm a fan of flat water, and we have this little lagoon, as we call it. It's not really the lagoon, and it gets very flat. And when the wind comes from north, it's like clean. It comes, there's no buildings, nothing in between. So that's really fun for me. If you wait for the right tide, then you're good. The only hard part of the spot is because we have really different tides. So sometimes there's no water in the lagoon, but you could always go to the ocean. But as a freestyler, I'm always searching for the flat water. But I really love it, and I really feel like welcome here. It's my 3rd time in Qatar. And every time I come, I have a good experience. So personally, I really enjoy it.
Let's backtrack a little bit and get back onto the World Cup Tour conversation. What are your goals for this season?
To be world champion always. Every season I start with that goal in mind. Yeah.
What do you think it's going to take this year to do it?
I don't know, like I always think it's something and turns out it's something else, but this year I feel really good. Like today I was just talking to a friend, and I said yesterday I kind of felt like myself again riding, being able to put my self-expression, my style into it. It really felt good. So I kind of feel like I just need to go through the year doing the work that I'm doing, and things are going to click. So yeah, that's the feeling.
Yeah. Well, cool. Thanks a lot, Bruna, for taking the time to do this interview, and congratulations on your victory here at, I'm going to try to say it right, Fuwairit Kite Beach, FKB.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.